Hello everyone. We all know that electric vehicle segment will become the fulcrum of automotive domain, and hence there is correspondingly high expectation when it comes to performance, handling, comfort, and other attributes. But these are very complex and multi-domain systems, which needs to be handled with a complete solution. We welcome you all for today's webinar on model-based design of electric vehicles, in which we will be addressing the challenges in modeling the electric vehicles. I'm Lakshmi from Trident Infosol. Before we head towards the webinar, I'll give you a short intro on what we do. Our operation started in the year 2000. We are known as a complete solution provider in the industry, and we have existence in all the Taiwan cities of India. This is a very partial list of our customers. We have existence in both private as well as defense sectors. We provide software solutions starting from requirements management till verification and validation, in which we are partnered with Deso System for Rectify, that's for your requirements management and traceability analysis tool. We're also partnered with Deso for, again, on NoMagic for your UML and SysML modeling. We are partnered with Modelon, an OEM which is responsible for today's webinar, and we have solutions from them like the functional mockup interface and domain-specific commercial libraries. Going forward to code development and deployment, we are partnered with OEMs like Greenhills, iSystem, AutoSAR Builder, and Dusty. When it comes to testing, we are partnered with Parasort for both static as well as dynamic analysis. We're also partnered with SpeedGoat for real-time simulation and testing for both Hill as well as RCP. Talking about our speakers, we have an expert from Modelon, Mr. Elevarison, who works as a principal engineer and has a huge experience in model-based development and system engineering since 2006, and majorly in automotive industry. His main area of focus are on simulations of vehicle, powertrain dynamics, energy management, and controls. We also have Mr. Vijay Kamesh from our very own Trident Infosol. Vijay has an experience in the field of modeling and simulation that includes 1D and 3D. He works as a design application engineer for Daimola and Modelica libraries. For more information and recorded videos, please contact Trident Infosol. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now our experts will take over the session. Over to you, Vijay.
Hello everyone. Thanks Lakshmi for the nice introduction. I hope everyone can see my screen and able to hear my voice. Praveen, can you confirm? Is it okay?
Yes. Yeah, Vijay. It's you're audible. Your screen is visible.
Yeah, thanks. So today we will see about the challenges in the model-based design of electrical vehicles and how come we can overcome these challenges using the available framework as a solution. And following with an interesting electrical vehicle use cases. And in the second part of the presentation, Mr. Elevarison from Modelon will take the case study of a multi-objective focused EV simulation and do the demonstration in the available framework. So when it comes to the model-based system engineering, and particularly in the development, the modeling of the EV system brings up the complexities and challenges to the development engineers, simulation engineer, and the whole R&D team. So many EMs are still working within a legacy methods for the system modeling by using the traditional simulation tools such as MATLAB, Simulink, Excel, and the coding in the Fortran and other programming languages. Sometimes even using a pen and paper for sort out the equation manually, then code the models from the scratch. So it majorly relied on the engineers training and their expertise and its limits not to do more complex things. These legacy methods and tools offer only conservative and steady state estimates. The next challenge comes to the system of the multi-domain. So when it comes to the complete system of the EV, then it's a need to handle the multi-domain model. For an example, in the battery management system, the electrical thermal domain has to be integrated and brings the complexities. So especially for the connection between the two different components of systems from the different domains, so it requires a dedicated connection setup for the energy and signal transfer. So another challenge is the system level integration. So in the EV, it's a very complex system, and it will be more complex in the future by adding more requirements. so that each component and the subsystem relies or affect on another components and subsystem. So the subsystem can't develop separately with its own objective or not interacting with the other subsystem. So, and it creates kind of a problem. So in the EV, the multi-objective optimization is a key challenge, and so maintaining a solution at a system level is in need of an hour. So another important main challenge in the EV modeling is the reusable and scalability of the models. So mostly it is very hardly to reuse the work which already done earlier in, and it also required more effort to scaling the system. So for an example, there should not be much effort in building the battery cell to the battery pack. So the component subsystems, even system should be ready to reuse within a very less and minimal efforts. So these are all the main challenges facing in the modeling of the electrical vehicles. So now we are offering them a solution from the Modelon, which is based on these are libraries which are based on the language called Modelica, and we will run these models in the tool called the Dynamica, which is one of the Modelica framework. So the solution is in the form of a Modelica framework with the Modelon libraries. So with this, it is possible to overcome these challenges and offers a lot for the modeling of the electric vehicle systems. So we will see about how this Modelon solution as a library and its capabilities benefiting in the electric vehicle modeling. So the Modelica framework offers with the intuitive modeling, that means modeling is in a more graphical than coding. And it also removes the manual effort sorting the equations and helps the engineer to more focus on the domain expertise, so that the more time can be spent on the product development, not in the developing the model. So even it is a graphical modeling, it is also possible to view the generated model code, and it's possible to extend and modify according to the user requirements. Also, all the states and the variables of the models are be evaluated here, and it offers a lot more to see inside each and subsystems and the components. So next one is multiphysics modeling. So in the Modelica framework, it is possible to build the system models with the different physics domains. So the Modelon libraries offers a multiphysics solution, and it is a well-refined one, and developed mainly focusing for the industrial application. So the library contains a lot of ready-to-use components for the multi-domain application. EEV is one of the such application. For an example, in the EV powertrain, the domains involve electrical, control, thermal, fluid, and mechanical domain. So here the Modelon libraries offers a unique interface and adapter components for creating the interface connections between the different multi-domain libraries and components. So the components from the different libraries can be connected so easily in this framework. So in overall, the solution from the Modelon can handle all the complexity of this multi-domain and the perspective of multiphysics domain, and with the suitable arrangements. One of the main challenges in the EV modeling is maintaining the solution at the system level, which shared across all the departments. Commonly, it is a very difficult because the different departments tend to rely on the different tools and frameworks, making it difficult to model the full vehicle for a multiple characteristic study, and require a lot of effort for the system level integration. With the Modelica framework and the Modelon solution as libraries, the development of the complete EV can be done in the same framework and can be easily integrated at the system level, even with handling the multiple objectives. So in addition, the platform helps to configure easily with the different simulation use cases. For an example, when the EV model is integrated completely and want to run simulation for the different drivelines, different chassis models, different battery pack models, and all these different configuration can be easily changed and perform simulation at the system and the subsystem level. As I said, the standard interface components also available for the easy connection and integration of the components and subsystems with the other library components. Also, using the FMI technology, it is possible to transfer the models for the software in loop, hardware in loop simulation, and these models can also be solved using the external solvers. So in this diagram, it shows the workflow of the EV modeling, where the modeling of the EV system is done on the Modelica framework, complete EV systems done on the Modelica framework, and using the Modelon libraries. So using this Modelon libraries, it is possible to build a complete EV system in a very detailed level. So the developed models can be used in other simulation environment for the real-time simulation or hardware loop simulations using the FMI technology. So these are the libraries offered by the Modelon for the modeling of the electric vehicle and the hybrid vehicles. So the library varies from the electric powertrain to the vehicle modeling to the thermal management to the HVAC. So all the aspects of the EV and hybrid vehicle can be modeled in a very sophisticated way using these libraries. So in the EV modeling, the reuse and scalability is a main priority and important feature in the solutions. So here the object-oriented feature in the Modelon library gives an option to reuse, extend and modify the model's components according to the requirements. So the scalability option gives more advantages when the model level getting complex. For example, in the battery pack of the electrical vehicle, the battery cell can be reused and scale it to a different level at the battery pack. So in this diagram, we can see the battery cells are grouped in different ways using the parameter NS, which is a number of series, and the cell group and the group of series GS. So here for this example, we fixed the number of series as equal to 6, and it is and in the first row we can see the group of series is named valued as 1. So that means the battery is grouped as a lumped model, where in the second row we can see the GS is equal to NS. That means the number of series equal to the group series. So that means each cell in the battery pack is made as an individual cell. So the second row is a very detailed model, and the first row is a simpler model relatively. So using these parameters of NS and GS, the different custom groups can be defined for similarly like in the third and fourth row. So in addition, by introducing the NP and GP, which is the number of parallel group of parallel variables parameters for the parallel connection, then we will have an array of battery pack, and this is the battery pack modeling for the electric core model, and the same can be established for the thermal models, the battery thermal model also. So here in the thermal model of the battery can be discretized from the cell level to the complete full pack. So the well-defined will be the multi-node. That means in the pack, the individual cell have a separate thermal node, and the lump model describes one thermal node for the battery pack. The customized thermal nodes can also be possible, depends on the modeling of the battery pack. So the thermal model of the discretized cell can be specified in two geometric ways. One is called a cylindric and another is prismatic. And also the control interface available for a thermal management or for the battery management analysis. So similarly, like this battery subsystem, it can be applicable to all the subsystems of the EV, and it can be scaled to on a different level. So and gives an option to customize a model from the low level to the high fidelity models. So these are the challenges in the model-based design vehicles, model-based design of the electric vehicles, and can be addressed by the Modelon solution with the Modelica framework and its features. So as we have seen, offer more than 2 libraries from the modeling of electrical vehicle. But for today, we are going to concentrate on the 2 important libraries named electrification and vehicle dynamics library. Both these libraries covers a significant part of the EV modeling and gives more advantage. The electrification library covers the powertrain, including the machine, converters, inverters, power electronics modeling, and the loads and battery modeling. Whereas in the vehicle dynamics library covers the framework of the automobile, like the multi-body, chassis, different suspension systems, controllers, different tire and wheel models, and the drivelines controllers. So both these libraries covers a solution for design, analysis, verification, and control of electric vehicle system. So as we have seen, the detailed subsystem can be scaled and commonly for the battery and for the different chassis systems. So also then the extensive component list with the different vehicle structure, such as cars, trucks, heavy vehicles are hierarchically structured, and it can be easily configured for the different analysis work. There are more than 30 different suspension topologies, including planar, tubular, and multi-body, and more than hundreds of configuration options for the switchable mounts. So the also here the surrounding environment can be modeled, including the road surface, cornering, and obstacles for the efficient simulation for the driver and the safety system behavior. So the predicting component usage for the system sizing and the system performance, energy consumption, vehicle range, and the evaluating components limits can be done. So the electrical disturbance such as electromagnetic inferences can also be analyzed here with the help of the electrification library. So with these capabilities, design and verification of the vehicle system can be done from the initial design phase through control design to implementation. So the study and analysis of the electrical vehicle model can be varied. So for the low fidelity models can be used for the concept evaluation, and the high fidelity models for the verification. In overall, all the features and capabilities of these two libraries gives a better hand for the ease of modeling of the EV, and it helps in different analysis and various studies in the electrical vehicle modeling. So in next, we will see briefly about the library structure and available models components in the electrification library. So in the electrification library, basically structured with the different sub packages called battery, machines, inverters, converters, and loads. So at first we will see about the battery. As we seen earlier, the battery modeling also range from the cell level to module level to pack level. Also, the fidelity level of the model scaled from the lump model to the individual cell pack level. So each battery model is composed of 4 domains. So which are called a core, thermal, electrical, and control. And each domains can scale differently. The core domain consists of the modules such as charge capacity, impedance, constant open circuit voltage, self-discharge, and aging. Whereas in the electrical domain, model describes the electrical implementation details related to the external interface of the batteries. The controller domain for the battery management and sets the limit based on the state of charge, voltage, and temperature. As similar to the battery structure, in the machine model also configured with the different domains. And the dynamics and the dynamics of the electrical and mechanical of the machine is separated. So the thermal dynamics of the machines and its scalability ranged from lumped to discretized multiple thermal nodes. In the latest release of the library, the AC machines and its interface with the individual phases are added. So also here, the ideal power conversions with the different kinds of losses models can also be configured, and the different controller configuration with the multi-mode operations, such as including the torque, speed, power, voltage, and switching control are available here too. Next, we will see about the inverters and converters. So in both the inverter and converter, the domains are separated as a core, electrical, thermal, and controller. And the averaged models for the fast robust simulation and the switched models for the detailed high frequency dynamic simulation. The heat losses can be modeled in both the inverter and converter models. In converters, bidirectional conversion can be modeled, for example, for boosting the battery voltage. The different controller configuration available for both the inverter and converters, especially for the converters, the voltage or current or primary side or current secondary side and change mode of configurations are available. Whereas in an inverter, current control, field oriented torque control, and control of switching options are available. In addition, in the inverter, the AC machine control of torque, speed, and positions are available too. So next is load. So the general purpose of the electrical loads are modeled in such a way as constant power loads, dynamic and time series loads, battery charger, and battery cycle for power derating. These load models can be controlled via external signals and limits. So similar to other battery and machines, the load models also support for thermal effects and its dynamics. So the vehicle dynamics library contains an extensive component list for the automotive, such as like the driver, packages, brakes, chassis, controller, and all these packages covers a complete vehicle architecture, and it also offers different configurations of architecture can be possible. In addition, by using the ground, atmosphere, scene packages for the modeling of the real-time vehicle simulation with the different scenario can be done here. So due to the time constraints, like I couldn't explore more about these two libraries. What I have shown us and described is a very brief of these libraries. So the combination of the electrification library and the vehicle dynamics library will give the whole sum of the modeling of the electric vehicle and hybrid vehicle modeling. So we will see now some important interesting use cases. So in the first, the vehicle dynamics use cases, this use case is developed with the combination of both the electrification library and the vehicle dynamics library. So the picture here shows, the complete electric vehicle model, and the electric powertrain model is modeled using electrification library, and the model contains the battery and the two electrical machines with 3D mechanical reaction forces. So the simulation is performed for the torque vectoring and acceleration performance by including the electrical and the mechanical limits. So the next use cases we will see about the electrical vehicle range. So here the objective is to find the maximum range of the battery for the electrical vehicle using the abstract EV model. So the simulation has been performed for the cases with the losses and without the losses. So the top plot shows the vehicle range versus the state of charge. You can see from the 90% of the state of charge, the vehicle has been started and stopped at 0.1% of the state of charge. So the maximum range is obtained for is 95 km with the losses, and 109 km obtained for the without losses. So here we can also analyze the for the long drive cycles and energy efficiency can be done here. So another important interesting use cases is a battery imbalances. Between these battery imbalances between the cells in the battery pack. As we seen earlier about the scalable architecture of the battery model, and here it helps this imbalance analysis. Battery defined as an individual cell, that is using the multi-node option. The plot shows the maximum, minimum, and the nominal current and SOC state of charge for the battery pack. So the impedance, charge capacity, thermal parameters, and the random imbalance as a statical disturbances can also be analyzed here with this model. So this use case is another interesting one, where the battery model from the electrification library integrated with another library called liquid cooling library. So for the detailed battery thermal management, as we have seen. The Modelon libraries are, as we have seen earlier, the Modelon libraries are easy to integrate with each other. So using the standard interface connectors adapters for the thermal dynamics, here the model established for the better battery management systems and including the thermal constraints, and can be studied with the thermal electrical interactions. So this use case is this is the last use case we will see for the electric powertrain startup control, where the battery model with the voltage pre-charge and is connected to the machine with the clutch with the engaging of the engine. So the plot shows that the slow pre-charging of the system capacitors before fully connecting the battery, and the top plot shows the synchronizing speed of the rotor and before the speed of the rotor and the engine before closing the clutch. So here this model can be ran as a model in loop, and for the including the robust transient dynamics also be considered. So we are in the final in the presentation. Next, we will see about the demonstration within a case study of multi-objective focused electrical vehicle simulation is performed by the varying model fidelity using the Modelon libraries in the Modelica framework tool called Dymola. So in this demo, different models used and following questions are answered. So the questions such as, can we do battery and motor sizing to analyze a model against the performance and range objectives? Captured thermal effects in the same model to analyze how the temperature affect the component characteristics, or these captured thermal effects to decide about the cooling requirements. We try to find this question using the first model. In the next model, we will try to answer these two questions, which are related to the effect of wheel slip during acceleration and stability control by torque vectoring in case of the multi-motor driven EV vehicle. So These questions and models will be seen in the demonstration, which will be carried by the Mr. Ilavasan. Over to Ilavasan.
Thank you, Vijay, for delivering a wonderful presentation. However, even before we get on to the demo, we have a polling question. So request all the audience to start polling. Yes, Silverson, you can please share your screen.
Okay. Is it visible?
You're visible and you're audible. Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Hello all. Thanks, Manodal, and thanks Vijay for a very good introduction and presentation. So in the demo, I will just like go over about the library a little bit. Then we'll jump on to the actual use cases that I want to show. So this is a Modelica framework where I loaded the Modelon libraries. So Modelon has a base library called Modelon. It's called MDL. Then you got electrification library, then vehicle dynamics library. Electrification library, as which I pointed, I mean, it is very well structured and divided into different components. And different components has like their own subcomponents and their own experiments, etc. for each subcomponents. So and overall, at the top level, you got examples for use cases using these electrification library components. For example, electric vehicle range study, series drive cycle study, then battery charging use case, maximum performance use case, etc. So yeah, I'm not going deep into that library. Then in vehicle dynamics, yeah, again, as Vijay pointed, it has like a top level components like vehicles, drivers, roads, etc. And under vehicle, you got like chassis, brake, powertrain, and you got like plenty of suspension modeling option in chassis and the different powertrain configurations possible in the vehicle dynamics library. At the top level, you got examples for vehicle dynamics library for the vehicle dynamics use cases like different handling maneuvers, like stability control, then reduced order model simulations, etc. Along with like we added some of the electric powertrain use cases also, where we combine electrification components from electrification library into a vehicle dynamics library, and we basically like do the coupled simulation between electrification and vehicle dynamics. So with that, I will just like move on to the actual use case that I want to discuss. So basically, like some of the questions posed by Vijay during his last slides. So like, can we do both range and performance simulations in the same model? And can we include thermal characteristics to study the effect on the range, performance, etc. So those questions can be addressed with this model. And the model here is generally taken from the electrification library. It doesn't have any connection with the VDL library. So which tells us that, I mean, the battery and motor is a pretty complex model, whereas the chassis model that we choose here is a very preliminary, like it's 1D longitudinal chassis model. It's resistance based model, but often like in the design, in the analysis, like we start with the simpler model for the portions that we are not much interested, and we'll keep the complex model for the area that we are interested. For example, in this case, like if you are interested in battery and motor, let's keep complex models for battery and motor and keep chassis as simple. And in this case, like we just like got inspiration of an Indian EV that's on market. and we parameterized with the data that we could gather from online for that vehicle, and we parameterized battery and motor for that Indian electric vehicle. So for example, in this case, this battery has like a number of cells in series, 100 cells in series and 19 cells in parallel. Then like so we define capacity based on temperature. So it's basically capacity is varied based on the temperature of the battery, and we define the cell open circuit voltage. Again, it's based on SOC and temperature. So everywhere the temperature effects is captured in the characteristics of the components. So here the open circuit voltage is varied based on SOC and temperature. And we also have impedance model. We pick like a resistive loss impedance model, and for example, in this case, like there are 2 resistor and 1 capacitor, and the characteristics is varied again based on SOC and temperature. And for all of these components, for example, from the top level, if you click battery, so you got like as Vijay pointed, if you go into battery, so it is divided into different domains. For all of these domains, you got like different options to pick. So from a low fidelity model to high fidelity model. So you can have like a fixed capacity model, or you can have a tabular based capacity model, which vary based on temperature, etc. Likewise, you can pick different options for thermal model. You can go from lump to all the way up to multi-node or discretized thermal model. So the discretization is possible for both electrical characteristics as well as for thermal characteristics, all the way up to from considering your entire pack as single cell, and all the way up to like consider each cell in the battery separately. Like we study the electrical and thermal effects of that single cell in the battery. So for all the cells in the battery, so that will be the highest fidelity. So that's the highest discretization that we can do. So as I mentioned, you will be able to like change the options for variants for each of these components. Then in this case, we picked the thermal as again a lumped thermal model, and we start with the temperature of 30 degrees Celsius and with thermal heat capacity of 20 kilowatt. Then we picked a controller. Basically, we picked a simple battery management system in this case, like which limits some of the power and currents, some of the max power and max currents for discharging and charging case. And we got some limit factors as well. Basically, like we can vary these factors again based on temperature or SOC voltage. So currently we try to vary based on temperature. So likewise, there are multiple fidelities we can choose. We can increase the fidelity, we can increase the complexity based on the data available with us, and based on the study that we are doing at particular time. So this is with respect to battery, and for this vehicle we chose motor. Again, motor, as Vijay pointed, if you go look inside, it is divided into different domains, and like electrical, core, mechanical, thermal. Again, the discretization is possible in motor also, mainly in the thermal side. You can have a lumped thermal or a discretized thermal model, and there are again controls specific to motor, similar to the one that we have seen for battery. So in this case, we picked. Okay, so as Vijay pointed, like we have simple limits based motor models, as well as basically DC motor models, as well as we got like complex AC motor models. But in this case, most of the cases like for studying range and performance, simpler limits based model might work. So in this case, we chose simpler model, so where we define the max power and the max torque, the characteristics of the motor. So in this case, the vehicle had like 94 kilowatt motor and 245 Newton meter max torque. So that is defined there, and we are able to define the losses for the power loss for motor as well as inverter. So again, in a tabular format. So like it's based on speed and temperature. Okay. So these are all done. Then we got option to introduce in this case introduce gearbox if required. and we can define the gear ratio also there. So for this vehicle, we found 9 ratio of 9.1 is the right one. So it required, I mean, for any vehicle, for any new vehicle, when you have very less data, so it's not straightforward. You need to do some iterations, the design iterations, not to come up with the right parameter values for different components, different design variables. So it takes some of design iterations, like you need to do it like parameter sweeps or optimization study in order to arrive at a optimal value that can give you the target value for your metrics. Okay, so again, as I mentioned, the chassis is pretty simpler. So it's like it's a resistance-based model. We assumed a few values here, and so with that, we were able to do both electric range and electric performance study. Okay, so I will just like yeah, I'm not going to like do simulation on the fly. It will take time. So I have captured some of the results in the PPT. So for example, in the range study, so we were able to get like 300, close to 300 kilometer, again with like 65% of SOC level, and you can see the vehicle follows the. So basically, for this range study, we are driving with the drive cycle. So from the driver model. So let me show the driver model. So yeah, so you are taking that vehicle, you are coupling it to the driver model where you define a drive cycle. For example, in this case, like it's modified NEDC cycle that we run repeatedly, and like so we were able to get like a 300 kilometer at the end as a range, and you can see the velocity profile against the desired driver velocity profile from the drive cycle. And you can see the electric motor torque, like it does both like motoring and generation. Okay, and again, it's the generation is a bit ideal here. Like so we are not taking the friction braking into account, and we are for all of the braking is done by the regeneration here. Yeah. Then okay. So in the same model, same range model, I have done with and without cooling. So if you see, like we enabled the thermal port here, and we included a simple cooling circuit. So this can be replaced with a detailed cooling circuit from a library called liquid cooling circuit, as Vijay pointed. But again, it is simpler, which is available within electrification library. So we can see the effect of like cooling, no cooling in the range, like. For example, you can see the temperature like with and without cooling. So it reaches about 85 for the range simulation without cooling, and with cooling, it is ideal. It's kind of ideal cooling, like around 26. Again, by changing the cooling configuration, we can keep it at any temperature level. And you can see the SOC difference, and you can see the thermal energy loss between these two versions. Okay, so moving on to next case, like that's electric performance, where like we are applying a sudden throttle with respect to like 100% throttle. So in order to do the performance test case, so like we will see a couple of few important results from that study. Like so we are able to like get like around like 120 kilometer per hour in 10 seconds, and like you can see the torque profile, which vary from like a max torque to the reduced torque in the higher speed region, and you can see the SOC variation. So basically, like what we observed, like we were able to like somewhat closely match the advertised numbers for that particular vehicle with the available parameter that we got. Okay, so this is okay. This case study like is about like modeling an already existing vehicle. But again, in case of like you want to start from scratch, you want to like convert an existing combustion-based vehicle into an electric vehicle, then the EV sizing actually matters there. Like again, you can use these kind of models in order to help you in the sizing there. So for example, in those cases, you will start from your traction curve for the road vehicle, like force versus speed curve, then you all the way like converting that into like how much motor size, what is the motor size, max motor size, then what will be your gear ratio, then what can be your battery sizing. So those kind of things like you can do iteratively, again using these simulation components. You can use like the tools such as like parameter sweep or optimization, a steady state simulation, etc., in order to help you in the EV sizing problem. Okay, so that is typical. And in electrification library, we got one more thing, like you can run this motor into in different modes. For example, torque control mode, speed control mode, voltage control mode. So you can use some of these options also in order to help you in the sizing. For example, you can choose speed control mode. Then for your max speed target, you can see how much power it requires. Then you can input that power as a max power for your motor. Then you can do the analysis. So this kind of features, I mean, you can use in your EV sizing. Then okay, so then I will move into another use case where excuse me, where like I will introduce vehicle dynamics component into the electrification. I mean, basically we'll combine electrification library components into the vehicle dynamics library. So I got like two cases here. So I have modeled the coupe electric vehicle here. I will go, so at the top level it has like driver and the vehicle model, and the inside the vehicle model it is divided into brakes, chassis, and the powertrain. And the chassis, if you see, like it has like a front suspension, rear suspension, and different tire models clearly modeled. And the tire models are basically Pasega high fidelity model, and chassis is basically like it's not that high fidelity, like it's polynomial based chassis model. Then if you see the powertrain for this vehicle, so it is basically like a single motor driven powertrain with rear wheel drive line. And again, the battery and motor, I'm not following the same characteristic that I have shown for the previous case. It is followed differently here. It's like under different configuration, but just like we will understand the effect of vehicle dynamics in the electric vehicle, okay, electric vehicle study. So and if you see, like here we have included a powertrain control where we included a traction control and regenerative braking control. The traction control, what it does, it just like actively looks for the wheel slip, and it actively varies the motor torque. So that's important aspect of like coupling your electrification with vehicle dynamics. Basically, like in the electric vehicle. In the conventional vehicle, you often do traction control via friction braking, but in electric vehicle, you got the option of like vary your motor torque along with friction braking. So here the motor torque variation is established and explained. So with the traction control and regenerative braking, as opposed to what we have seen in the previous case, like there, like we got it ideal and we were regenerating 100% throughout. And here, like we are restricting the regeneration to some speed limits and torque limits. So that, I mean, it's basically like we are in this case, like we have increased the fidelity of the chassis, but of the chassis and the powertrain, but we were able to like bring in more effects. So that's the point I wanted to make. Like so when you have a simpler chassis, then you got like you have to like go with some assumptions for the chassis effects, but or you have to leave out some chassis effects. But when you go for high fidelity chassis, then you will be able to bring the wheel slip effects, etc. So in this case, what we will do, like we will perform an acceleration study again. It's a similar performance study with and without this traction control system in the vehicle. So I will show the actual results for that case. Like, okay. So in this case, you can see like the blue is without the traction control and red is with traction control. So you can see the performance difference. For example, at 10 seconds, you can see the performance difference with respect to involvement of traction control. So with the traction control, you're able to like reach maximum speed. And what happens behind the scene, like you can see the motor torque here, and the blue curve is when you don't consider the wheel slip. So I mean, when you don't have, when you consider the wheel slip, but when you don't have the traction motor control. So in this case, like. So what happens, like due to the, I mean, during the start of the acceleration, so your wheels tend to slip a lot, and because of that, you reach your maximum torque very quickly, and you lose your maximum torque also very quickly. Okay, since you are reaching your maximum power soon. So this is the typical motor characteristics. So, and because of that, you are losing some energy in the traction. Whereas like when you involve traction controls, it actively monitors the wheel slip during the start of the acceleration even, then it reduces the torque, it like dampens out the initial peak of the torque, then it slowly gets to its maximum after a few seconds, so that it is able to sustain for some time, and you are able to reach maximum performance. So this is a typical case, like in electric vehicle can be used. And last case I will show, like so there is another vehicle dynamics use case where we modeled a pickup truck, electric pickup truck. In this case, like I'll show the chassis ones. Like again, it's detailed chassis model, like front and rear suspension with 4 tire models. And if you see the powertrain, again it contains like 4 motors powering each wheel, and with the 4 different like gearboxes, etc. And you got battery at the center, and you got the again powertrain control, which in addition to traction control, regenerative control, we added a yacht, basically torque vectoring control, yacht torque vectoring control. So what it does basically, like when you go around corner, so it just like actively looks for the understeering, oversteering case, and it just like finds which wheels basically slips, and it will apply accordingly the torque to the another wheel, so that the understeer oversteer condition is basically mitigated. So in conventional vehicle, this is basically done via friction braking. You got like electronic stability program which does that activity. But again, in the EV vehicle, you can do it basically, again, it is combined. It's not only by motor, you can combine friction braking and motor torque variation. So in this case, the motor torque is varied so that around the corners the vehicle is stabilized. Okay, so I can show a few plots for that. So for example, this is your vehicle path. So the red is with torque vectoring control, blue is without torque vectoring control, and with torque vectoring control, you're able to closely follow the path. Okay, and you can see the motor torque variation. So this for left motor and right motor. The blue is for again without torque vectoring. So blue remains same in most of the cases, but the red actually varies between left and right. So your left and right torques are varied, so that your handling control is perfect. So I can show some animation also in this case, like once again, yeah. So yeah, this is a typical road profile that we simulated. You got an electric pickup truck waiting at the start of the road. Yeah. So like I mean, so this vehicle dynamics library is multi-body based modeling, and you'll be able to see the animation also in addition to the plots. So you can see like it's able to like okay, this one without the torque vectoring, and if I simulate the next one, it'll go exactly, it'll exactly follow the curve. So instead of like deviating from the curve. Yeah. So so I will stop here. So I think we're over time. So I hope like I was able to like establish case for like range performance study with reduced chassis model and some and like traction control and handling control study with increased chassis fidelity. But again, like as we have seen, like again for the battery and motor, you can include the cooling circuit from LCL and the liquid cooling library, and you can do complete thermal and energy management also within the actual framework. So you can include, for example, in this case, you can include the same framework. Vehicle dynamics library is a very good framework where you can do complete vehicle study even you can do range performance all the way up to right comfort studies. You can include your battery thermal cooling circuit here, and you'll be able to do the complete full vehicle level studies in the same framework. Yeah, I'll stop here. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Praveen.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a polling question. Let me launch the poll. Yeah, the poll is live. I request the audience to please answer the poll. All right, thank you so much. The poll has ended. Yeah, all right. Thank you everyone for attending this webinar. And with that, we want this session to close out. If you had a question and we did not answer it, we'll get back to you offline and try to answer all your questions there. And the recording will be shared with all of them who have attended this session. I'd like to thank Vijay, Anand, and Ilvarasan again for delivering an excellent presentation. Thank you, everyone.